240804. Commissioner Palmer.
To the Honorable Mayor Mark DeWitt, Chairman and members of the Holston County Board of Commission in a regular session, met this 26th day of August 2024. Resolution in reference authorizing Holston County to allow Terry Law Firm to enter into litigation on its behalf against HolstonConnects in reference to franchise fees not being paid. Whereas HolstonConnects operates a high-speed fiber service which provides internet, telephone, and television to its subscribers in Hawkins County. And whereas video service providers are required to pay a 5% of gross revenue franchise fee to the municipalities and counties where they operate, and whereas HolstonConnects has thus far refused to pay the franchise fees, and because of this, Hawkins County has lost a significant amount of revenue. And whereas the Terry Law Firm from Morristown, Tennessee, is willing to represent Hawkins County in a contingency fee arrangement where Hawkins County would not pay any money unless the Terry Law Firm is successful in the litigation. And whereas, as detailed in the attached letter and contract, should the litigation be successful, Hawkins County would pay 25% of the total recovery plus expenses. The expenses would be divided pro rata with the towns of Bulls Gap and any other party represented by the Terry Law Firm. And whereas the county attorney has reviewed the attached and is in agreement with it. Now therefore be it resolved by the County Commission of Hawkins County, Tennessee, that County Mayor Mark DeWitt is authorized to execute an attached contract and any other necessary document to participate in the litigation as detailed in the attachment. Mayor, I so move.
Got a motion on the floor from Commissioner Palmer, second Commissioner Gillum. Questions? Comments? Yes, sir.
So the money,
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll get you in a minute, Mr. Palmer. Go ahead.
the money that would be recovered would go into the general fund?
Solid waste.
Say again?
The solid waste fund. That was our previous commission that set it up, but we can determine where it could go.
Yeah, well, I just saw that it would be 7 figures, and I see that they're not getting paid unless they win. They feel pretty confident.
Possibility of up to
Possibility of. But I was just going to say a substantial amount of money that could probably be utilized in the general fund to cover a lot of tax issues that we've kind of ran into recently. So that was my first question. I have a quick follow-up, which is, actually, I lost my question. Well,
Okay. Just keep in mind that any settlement on this is far out. Far out.
Okay, and I understand that. I did assume that. Are we worried about, because I'm sure you're tracking too, I hopped on Facebook for a short period of time, saw a bunch of comments from the public that were saying that if we were to pursue the litigation and end up getting the money, that Holston's just going to turn right back around and raise the prices. Is there a way, I guess legally in capitalism, or the system we have, there's no way to prevent them from doing that. So are you guys worried that if we do start chasing some money, yes, it will benefit us in the fact that we'll have income coming in, but Holston will just raise the prices for all their services for Hawkins County at that point?
Brack, you want to address that? This is Brack Terry from the Terry Law Firm.
So part of the statute that requires HolstonConnect to pay 5% also has some teeth in it that if they try to pass that on to the customer, that the county can, in essence, prevent that by making them, pay that money back to the county. So I don't think that would happen.
I'm glad to hear that. That was the big question. I've seen a bunch of people were really riled up saying you guys are going to force Holston to do, but if there's a way to prevent that from happening.
Well, we're not forcing Holston. Holston signed an agreement when they first went into business with that they would pay it. And if we weren't really fairly well confident that we could do this, we wouldn't be getting into it.
Good luck.
What are they saying? Why are they not paying? What's their side of the story on there?
Go ahead, Brad.
So they believe that the language of the statute doesn't require them to pay it, but in essence, we believe it does. We believe the language of the statute says that they are required to pay the 5%. When they signed up to agree to provide fiber service, they agreed to pay the 5% for TV only.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, it doesn't affect your internet, phone, anything like that, just the TV portion of it. Commissioner Clont, you're up.
Mr. Chairman, I need to declare a conflict of interest.
Okay. Just abstain when we vote, okay?
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
Yes, I have.
Wait a minute. Let me get this board cleared first. Commissioner Palmer.
She can go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, 2 questions. We had some citizens inquiring, is there any interest involved? Like a back pay of interest for the period that they were not paying?
We would ask for prejudgment interest.
Okay. And the second question was, along the lines of them not passing the buck on to the consumer, is there any chance that they would stop services in the county altogether, like fiber or TV or anything?
The amount of their revenue is a lot. So I can't imagine that.
Sure.
Okay, skipped one here. Commissioner Young.
Yeah, I've wrestled with this like crazy. I think it's unfortunate. I have actually said that I wasn't going to support this because, Holston Electric, it's a cooperative, which means it's owned by the members, which makes me feel like we as the commission are suing our own the members of the co-op, which is our people, and I don't really like the way that feels. However, after speaking with the attorneys and learning a little bit more about this, I think it's more unfortunate that HolstonConnects has put us in a position to have to do this. This is a state law, state statute that's been passed, and they agreed to when they decided to offer this service. And it's very unfortunate that they haven't agreed to do this voluntarily, or at least to negotiate with the attorneys or with us directly in good faith to resolve this outside the courtroom. I actually think it's quite bizarre that they haven't. So I'm not sure how I feel about this after learning some of what we learned during our closed session. I don't know if I'm quite ready to vote on this tonight. I don't know how the commission feels about delaying this or not, but just tossing it out there for discussion.
All right, Commissioner Palmer.
I agree with you, Josh. I don't feel confident in making a decision. I think there's some other discussions that probably need to be had, and I would not like to see it go to the courtroom. Because I echo a lot of your concerns. So with that being said, I would like to make a motion to table this to the September meeting.
I'll say.
Be postponed until the September meeting. We got a motion and a second.
Just a second.
They're gonna set it up over here. Hang on.
Probably if you'd rather make it easier, you can pull it your resolution, you can just pull it.
I think by September we can have a better idea.
But what he's saying is if you want to make it easier, just pull your resolution.
Okay.
Okay.
Pulling it now.
They're pulling it.
Okay.
Okay, we'll have it on the agenda for September. Whatever other information you need, dig and get it, because we're not going to put this off for very much longer. Okay?
Terry, I'd like to ask one question, please.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you stated earlier that if we did not join in this lawsuit, that we would not get compensation. So how long do we have before we have to agree to go into this lawsuit?
That's a bit of a difficult question, because I don't know what defenses they might raise if you don't join in sooner rather than later. I don't think anything's going to happen between now and September that's going to make a difference. But I don't think I would tell you to push it out, months.
But I am correct that if we do not join in the lawsuit, then we won't get any compensation even if you win, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
If the lawsuit's won and you elect not to join, you won.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a follow-up? Okay, so, and I understand, I guess, what you're saying. Well, if the court were to decide that HolstonConnects is liable for whatever 5% franchise fee that they should have been paying all along, and we don't join in the lawsuit, it seems to me that we wouldn't qualify for any back pay, but that would still the court would order them to follow Tennessee Code Annotated and begin filing, or paying the 5% franchise fee moving forward.
Yeah, I think that may just be limited. I mean, if I were, well, I think if you don't join in, you stand a very good chance of not being compensated for back pay or future pay.
Why would they be off the hook if we didn't join in the lawsuit for future franchise fees if the court ruled that they were supposed to be paying them all along anyway?
Well, think of it this way. If I had a personal injury case with a 1-year statute of limitations and I didn't file it, but the guest passenger in my car did file the case and they won, you know, it's, if you don't file your case, you don't pursue it, they're going to take the position, I would assume, that, you know, you've elected not to pursue compensation.
It's basically that we're the enforcement agency, right? And if we don't join in the lawsuit, they're not going to pay it unless we make them, is what you're saying.
What I suspect is the court will enforce its judgment for the people that are active and plaintiffs of the case. If you're not a plaintiff of the case, you don't ask for compensation, the court's not going to rule that you get it.
How long has this lawsuit been going on?
Since April.
Since April?
That's dang.
Is there a reason, Mr. Palmer and Gillen, that you guys seem to be reserved? If we don't join, we don't get the back pay, we're missing out on that large hunk of income, which would be utilized. Like, what reason? I know you're saying it's a co-op, so it's kind of our own folks that we're suing. Is that the reason? Just from an optics standpoint, you don't feel it's appropriate that we sue our own co-op? Is there any other reason that you would be reserved not to want to join?
My personal opinion is if it's a state law, then the state should take it up. We shouldn't have to be trying to enforce state law.
Well, so this entire time that the state hasn't done that, we haven't been getting money.
First time I've heard about it. In fact, I heard about it when I got my packet, so.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Palmer, to that concern, I don't think the state ever foresaw that a cable company would apply for a franchise, provide the TV service, but then just refuse to pay it. They foresaw there might be disagreements about the correct amount owed, and there's a whole procedure in that if there's a dispute about the correct amount owed. But they didn't foresee that someone just flat out not pay it. And so that's why there's no enforcement mechanism from the state.
So what's the role of the state attorney general?
There's no role written into it. It's the role of the county and the municipality in which they operate to enforce their payment obligations.
So why do we got to follow TCA code then? On anything? If the state doesn't enforce it. I mean, I'm just asking, if they're not going to enforce our own TCA code, why do we got to follow it?
Robbie, use that mic.
Mike? We can't hear you.
So if the state is not going to enforce their own TCA code, then why do we need to follow it?
Well, for example, the county enforces property tax payment as well. If you don't pay your property taxes, your property sold at the county tax sale. Same concept. If the county doesn't receive franchise payments, they take action to make a payment.
But the state is not taking any action.
But the county is the one that takes the action in terms of property taxes.
This is not property tax code, right?
No, I'm just making it. It's a similar situation.
The commission is the ones in charge of enforcing
A
That's
state.
exactly right. Yes.
the state.
And Zane, to answer your question for my part, so I came into tonight fully intending to vote against that because, one, HolstonConnects transformed a lot of the rural parts of this county. I mean, there's parts of this county that the amount that they've added, that having access to internet in those areas, it has exploded the property values in lots of cases. Clinch is a good example. You know, there's plenty of other areas. And then, so you consider that, what that's done for the county, and you hate to turn around and sue them, right, after it's done a lot of good for a lot of people in our county. So me, thinking about that, I would hate to slap them in the face with a lawsuit right after doing that. I also want to make sure we're not going to put them into a financial strait that would cause them not to be able to offer the service. moving forward, because it has transformed the entire, the rural areas of our county. And then, lastly, I forgot my last point. I told him what you did earlier.
You would agree, Mr. Gillen, that it would be appropriate if they entered into an agreement in good faith that they would follow up with their agreement. So if they have legally already agreed to do that and they're not doing that, the commission lets them not do that, and we
That's
have
the problem,
large
yes.
corporations getting away with bullying the county. I guess
Yeah.
that sets a precedent to where.
That's it in a nutshell.
That's the problem right there.
And I hear your point too as well. It's very valid.
Yes, and some of what we were presented in the closed session, we learned a lot tonight, which really swayed my position on this. And but I would like to have 30 days to do a little bit more due diligence with some of the people involved in this.
And I agree, and I echo what Josh said, because we are personally in that position at my household. Just south of Cherokee High School, 1 mile, Dish Network doesn't provide service, Charter doesn't provide service. We had Ethernet, which is basically no internet at all.
Yeah.
HolstonConnects come in. So, and HolstonConnects is like, if you have Holston Electric service, then you have the opportunity for, high-speed internet. So, similar to like John, you don't want to slap somebody for providing a service that you don't get from anybody else. We don't have the option to go with anybody else. So, I think, having the discussions with even people at Holston, they could say, you signed it. Why are you not honoring what you signed? And, this is your own customers and they're cooperative that you're, holding feet to the fire if you do pass on extra fees. I think.
Commissioner Palmer, the internet part of this is not any in question.
Who said I don't want to get TV in the future?
Well, then,
But
That's another customer they're gonna have to pay
Josh and
5%.
Robbie are saying. It does feel like it's so bizarre that why don't we at least discuss it with them? What's going on?
okay, Commissioner Gibson, you're up.
I just want to address that if it was just TV, not broadband
Yeah.
or fiber or anything like that, so that was all I had.
Okay, Commissioner Thacker.
Have we had any problems with Scott County Cable? It comes into Holston County and do.
I don't think they provide television
I have.
through Scott County. Okay.
I have TV, cable, phone, internet.
We don't get any money from Scott County, to answer your question.
Why? That's the reason I'm asking.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right, Bernadette.
Is there any way that citizens could know some of the information that you were told in executive session? Because it sounds like
No.
it was really important.
That's why the executive session is held, because it's information that the attorneys decide not to put out in the public.
There is public information available.
Okay, so let's move on. That one's been pulled, okay? All right, one more question.
Thanks. I wondered if the law firm could speak to the amount of profit that the company incurs versus the amount that they would actually be sued for and paid in that one-time thing, and then presuming that they would pay their franchise fees as normal, just to assuage our fears that they might just stop our service. Like maybe the numbers are so drastically big and small that that's a non-issue and that billing might be easier.
Rack, you got anything to add to that?
Approximately gross revenues in 2021 were 7.1 million. Gross revenues in 2022 were 10.2 million. Gross revenues in 2023 were 11.7 million. At least in 2020, we don't know what the net was in 2022 and 2023, but in 2021 the net was $702,000.
A portion of which is TV. Not all of that is TV, correct? That's gross profit. So not all of that covers TV service.
No, that is Holston Connect. I can't break it down between data and TV.
Okay, let's move on.